What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the man who can easily win the title of the Coach of the Year, Stefan, who is absolutely smashing it. And you guys will be shocked to hear that two of the names that just signed with Stefan after the Olympia this year. First of all, we have Sergio Oliva Jr., who just made this announcement on Jonathan Warren's YouTube channel that he is no longer working with Neil Hill.
You switched from Neil, or you're with Neil?
Yes, I switched.
Oh, who are you with? I didn't know that.
Yeah, with Boss.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. When did that
Yeah.
happen?
And if all things that Sergio said, they are true about Neil Hill, then that, I have to say, is called the most unprofessional conduct towards your athlete as a coach. So according to Sergio, Neil did not reply him for 2 months. I mean, no change in the diet regime, no change in the supplements protocol, which again I have got to say is just insane. Now, it is really irrelevant on how busy Neil Hill was for this year's Olympia. I know he was working with Rafael Brandao in the men's Open Plus, and he was working with Mike Sommerfeld in Classic Physique. But as a coach, you can work with 20 guys at a time, as many guys as you want to, as long as you can give them the time. But if he cannot give them his due attention, it is all gonna be the coach's
There's
fault.
something not working with Neil, or what was the reason for the switch?
I'm still waiting for him to respond back to me. I'm waiting. I'm waiting 2 months now for him just to even respond.
That's wild.
All my shit's on red, man. Yeah.
Obviously, we are just going by Sergio's word and his statement here. Now, Sergio himself knows that he has got very little time left in professional bodybuilding to prove himself, to prove his worth as a men's open bodybuilder. And he is definitely doing a show in 2025, hoping to secure his Olympia spot for next year. Now, going by Stefan's track record, we might see Sergio in a great condition in whatever show he does next year. So how many guys does Stefan have who are all active IFB pros? And all of these guys have been on the Olympia stage. So let's start with Martin Fitzwater, William Barnack, Nathan Diesha, Muhammad Fada, James Hollingshead, and now we have Sergio Oliva Jr. And the second name who just joined up with Stefan, and that is Regan Grimes. So when was the last time a single bodybuilding coach had so many athletes, and that too from just one division? Talk about having a very successful career as a bodybuilding coach. Stefan is your man, and I think Martin Fitzwater, the biggest gun in his arsenal at the moment, a potential future Miss Olympia, he would be kinda worried that how would Stefan balance his attention to all of his athletes at the same time, especially if all of these guys, they are gonna be on the Olympia stage next year, and the chances of that happening, that is actually really high. And I forgot to mention one other name. I cannot imagine Brad Wilkin going for another coach other than Stefan after watching all that success that Martin just had with Stefan, and that too in person. I mean, Brad was there to witness that firsthand. So that makes a total of 8 IFB pros from the men's open class who are currently working with Stefan, all waiting to get to that Meso Olympia stage next year. Plus, he has Vasily and Orsk Lashinsky in Classic Physique as well. Now Regan switching from Milos Sergio to Stefan. I have got to say I did not see that coming, because Regan was the one who looked really impressive at his last show with Milos Sergio, and that was the Olympia last year, and he was able to place top 10 as well, and that was the best of his career. And this news, that was actually announced by Milos himself on the Menace podcast.
Regan Grimes no longer with you?
Yeah, he's with Stefan. We talked, and he expressed it, and I support it 100%. Stefan is the perfect guy for him.
So Regan Grimes have been training super hard in the off-season. He has been getting really big. We have seen some of his recent physique updates this year, where he weighs over 300 pounds. But that isn't a surprise, because he has hit that weight many times in the past. But I have got to say, not in that kind of condition that he is currently in. So this is the year Regan really has to make it count, because if he doesn't show up a lot more improved in 2025, the fans will just stop believing in him, because he has been a pro since 2017, and size-wise, it still isn't big enough to be competitive against those top 6 or top 8 guys in the world at Miss Olympia. So do not be surprised at all if multiple of Stefan's clients, they sign up for the Pittsburgh Pro because of the prize money. Now that being said, if Stefan continues to grab the clients of every other bodybuilding guru out there on the earth, he is gonna take them out of business pretty soon. Now, do let me know what you guys think. Whether a single person will be able to pick all of his clients to perfection. And what about that Sergio and Neil situation? This definitely doesn't look good on Neil Hill's part. The last time Neil Hill came under such bad lights, that was when William Bonac fired him as his coach, because Neil Hill was allegedly taking 50% of whatever William Bonac was winning in all of those shows.
Thank you for that. And no, I will not be competing at the Arnold this year.
Nick Walker's off-season physique update is next. Now that is why he is the freak and he is called the mutant. So this is the size that Nick has always been known for. When Nick said that he isn't gonna post any physique updates during his Olympia prep this year, that just wasn't to have that element of surprise and shock at this year's Miss Olympia. He just simply wasn't confident in that physique. And the more he's posting his updates on his IG on the entire social media, the more confidence he is gonna get. Now, Nick Walker did not announce what show he is going for next year. Now we know the rumors that he's gonna do this upcoming Pittsburgh Pro, and he did confirm that the Arnold 225 that isn't on his plan. So it is good that he gave himself some time to rest, to recover after pulling out of this year's Miss Olympia, and he is in no rush of stepping back on the stage. So the Pittsburgh Pro, that is scheduled in mid-May, so this will give him plenty of time for a proper off-season and go through a full-on prep with his new coach. So it isn't about Nick Walker rushing to the stage. There will be a lot of pressure on him moving forward, and he needs to show up at his all-time best to claim that he can still be top 3 in the world. Next up we have Breon Ansley, the legend of classic physique and the only man who hasn't missed a single Miss Olympia since classic physique was created back in 2016. So has his time also came to an end as a classic physique competitor? Well, it seems yes, because this was his stance on the overall Olympia and his future as a classic physique competitor.
I'll tell you this, that I'm leaning towards the 212 division. I'm leaning in that direction. Don't know if I'll actually make the decision for 212, but I'm definitely leaning in that direction.
Only Breon and his coach, Chris Cormier, believed that they can win the classic physique Olympia title this year. And our stance was that even if he is able to place top 4 again this year, that is gonna be a big win for him. That is gonna be such a huge accomplishment. So this was Breon's lowest placing since his first ever Miss Olympia back in 2016. And there is a solid chance that we might see Breon in the 212 class next year. Now Breon will need to get a lot bigger to be really competitive in the 212, especially bring up his legs. But it is gonna be really interesting to see how his physique changes when he can really try to push more food in the off-season without the fear of making that weight. So he competed at 187 in Classic and he still has a very hard time making that weight. Now, no disrespect towards Breon, but at this point, I do not see him improving his placings in Classic physique, so he might just take a chance, move to 212, and just give the fans a different look. This is Blessing Awudibu full-blown, over 315 pounds, deep in his off-season, and he isn't even close to putting an end to this growing season, and that too anytime soon. I'm telling you guys, the Pittsburgh Pro next year, that is gonna be one of the biggest shows of 2025, because Blessing also just made this announcement that he is in for Pittsburgh Pro and also the New York Pro next year. I still think we have not seen the best of Blessing, and he has a lot more to offer, and this off-season, that might be one thing that has been missing from him since 2022. The last time Blessing took a full year off, he came back and he won 2 shows back to back, which were Indy and the New York Pro. And here we are at the end of 2024. And guess what? The last time Blessing stepped on stage, it was more than 1 year ago. That was at Flex Pro Italy. So I for one am eager to see how his quads will look on the stage. Because if he comes back with some size improvements in his legs, he will have a solid chance of qualifying for the Olympia in 2025. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.